Hello, everyone. We are live. Let me just double check that we are. And yes, we are live. All right. So, welcome to our Thursdays live streams. As is my new thing, I will start reading our latest followers. Yesterday, no, sorry, Tuesday, I think I did read PH Mule and Diego Enrique Santos. So the next one is I am Ragav 545. So thank you, Ragav, for following us. And that's it. So, Yitendra, how are you?
Yeah, Alex, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Do you prefer Yitendra or Jackie?
Yeah, Jacky is better. Short form.
All right, all right. So, Jackie, what time is it where you are?
Yeah, it's around 8 p.m. IST.
Okay, okay, not so bad. Hey, hey, we're having people already in LinkedIn. Hi, Ankit. Hi, L- Layli. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Hi. Alrighty. So, Jackie, why don't you tell me a little bit about? Oh, hey, Manik, about yourself for the people that don't know who you are.
sure. So, my name is Jitendra Bafna, and you can call me Jacky. And I'm a MuleSoft ambassador, and I'm working as a API competency lead at a EPAM Systems, right? And I'm also leading a various MuleSoft meetup group, like Surat Nasik engineering student, and there's a one more group I even don't remember right now. Yeah, yeah. So that's a short introduction about me. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And also, Jackie has his own YouTube channel and everything, and he shares a ton of knowledge in D Zone and in the another integration blog and in ProsDev and everywhere, basically.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
All right, so what are we gonna do today, Jackie?
I think we have already had a two session on Flex Gateway. So the first session where we have discussed how to set up a Flex Gateway on Docker container. In the second session, we have discussed about like how to set up a Flex Gateway on Kubernetes ingress controller. So these are the two sessions we have already done. So as we know, like last time, many people asked the question why we have to add the port for each and new APIs again and again, right? So it add additional tasks, and it is a bit risky process also, because we are going to editing some a service file and we are updating the port configuration there. So with the new release of Flex Gateway 1.2, MuleSoft has released path-based routing. So where you can route the request on the basis of path to your API basically, and you can run a multiple APIs on the single port, and you have to configure a unique path for your each API. So that is how we can do the routing to your API.
All right.
So I will going to show two demonstration, one with port-based routing, and then how we can convert that port-based routing to the path-based routing.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can get started.
Let me present my screen. Just let me know once you can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just start with the port-based routing. And let me just give a brief introduction about the Flex Gateway. So recently, I will not say recently, it may be more than 3 or 4 months. MuleSoft has introduced something called Flex Gateway. The main intention of introducing the Flex Gateway, like you can manage your non-MuleSoft API and all MuleSoft API under the single umbrella, basically, or under the single pane of glass. So it is one of the fastest gateway, because like it's a completely envoy based. It's an envoy based service which is CNCF project. And with Flex Gateway, you can manage more, complete life cycle of your MuleSoft as well as non-MuleSoft API. it support any kind of architecture which include like monolithic microservices or API-led connectivity architecture. It support any design patterns, right? And apart from that, you can set up the Flex Gateway on the Linux operating system, or you can set up as a Docker container, or you can set up as a Kubernetes ingress controller, right? So this is just a short introduction about the Flex Gateway. And I think we have already done the two session where we have discussed how to set up Flex Gateway on the Docker container, then follow up with like how to set up the Flex Gateway on the Kubernetes ingress controller. So with the Flex, and we have done the session of Flex Gateway 1.0 and 1.1. So now MuleSoft has introduced Flex Gateway 1.2, where they have introduced something called path-based routing. And I will going to explain like what are the advantage of like path-based routing. So let me first go with a port-based routing. So generally, what is happening with a Flex Gateway 1.1, like whenever you publish your API to Flex Gateway, you require the separate port. Let's consider if I am deploying my employee API, which is running in the Docker container. So I have to create a listener on the Flex Gateway, which is listening to the employee API on the port 8081. Then I have a second API, which is order API, right? And that order API I have to publish on my Flex Gateway, right? So for that, I have to create or I have to open the another port on that Flex Gateway, which is 8082, and the request will come to 8082, and from 8082 it will be route to the order API. Now let's consider I have a third API. So now I have to publish this third API to the Flex Gateway. So I have to create a listener for that particular API, and I have to open the new port which is 8083. Let's consider like if you have n number of API which you are trying to publish into the Flex Gateway, so you have to create the n, or you have to open, or you have to create the listener for those n number of ports, right? So to like that is something like tedious task basically, and sometimes like you have to go and update a manual no service file, ingress service file, and like you have to do some configuration in that particular file. I have to open this port, I have to open this port. So that adds some risk during the modification of that file, because that file is heart of the that Kubernetes. Like if you are doing anything wrong configuration in that particular file, right, it will lead to the issues in your Kubernetes, right? So to avoid this thing, MuleSoft have come up with something called path-based routing. I'm going to discuss that. So here there are like when you are using the port-based routing, you have to consider like separate port for each API deployed to the Flex Gateway, and you have to modify the ingress service file, right? In case of Docker container, you may have to add more and more, or you may have to open more and more ports. Basically, that is some kind of risk, right? And like it's, I will not say bad approach or good approach. Generally, like like you have to do some more extra work for this, for achieving this particular thing. You have to do a lot of testing. You have to make sure like whatever configuration or whatever you are doing, it should be perfectly fine basically. And you also require the support from the Kubernetes team, right? Your Kubernetes support team, where they can open the port, where they can go and update your service ingress service file, right? So at the end, like you can see there are a lot of disadvantage of using the port based routing. So MuleSoft have introduced something called path based routing, where you can use the single port, right? And depending on the path, whatever the path is coming in the input URL, like let's consider slash employees API. So what does Flex Gateway do? Whenever it will see the path base path equals to employees API, the request will be transferred to the employee API, which is running in the Docker container. Similar it goes with the order API. Like whenever it will see order API as a base path, right? The request will be transferred to the order API. Same thing with the health API. But everything is listing on port 8081, and even you don't have to add this path on the Flex Gateway. Whenever you are creating the instance on your API manager, you can simply add the base path there itself. You don't have to do any changes on your Kubernetes or in your Docker container. You have to just do the changes from the graphical user interface like API manager, where you can add your base path, and whenever you add the instance, right, API instance, you need to add the base path. As simple as that, right? Or like you have to consider few things, like if you are deploying the multiple APIs on the single port, right, make sure the path is unique across all the API. Let's consider if I deployed the 10 APIs on my Flex Gateway, right, the base path must be unique across all the APIs. And here we don't have to modify any ingress service file. Yeah, in case if you want to add some ports, right, You may add, like, you may use the ingress service file basically, but like you don't have to do the changes every time you are publishing your API. Whenever you want to open some extra port, right? Maybe like your organization say, like, I just want to publish a 10 API on one port, not more than that. In such case, whenever you reach the threshold of 10 API, then you can go and open the 8082, right? So that is how you can make it a path based routing. Okay. So let me go with the demonstration. Anybody have any question on this?
Not yet.
Okay. So here I have few APIs. So I have a order API, I have an employee API, and I have a health API. So
Sorry,
this,
there's a question.
yeah,
um, can we create routing rule the way we do it on DLV, or it needs to be individual path?
yeah, Abhijit, it's a good question. Like, basically, we don't have options for creating the routing rules, right? If you are using any NGINX ingress or any application load balancer on the top of your Flex Gateway, you have to use it, right? In that particular file, you can definitely write a rules basically, right? But Flex Gateway directly doesn't provide any kind of rule. If you are using any external third load balancer like NGINX or application load balancer, right? In that particular file or in that particular ingress, you can definitely add extra rules and whatever rules you require. That is possible, but with Flex Gateway you cannot directly do it.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me quickly show what we will going to do. So first, I will going to do this setup. Okay, so where like I have already three API. One is employee API, which is running on port 9000, order API running on port 9002, and health API which is running on port 9003. Right, and now I will publish these three APIs to my Flex Gateway. These are because this API doesn't have any kind of security, and it is not managed by any kind of any kind of gateway. So I'm going to use this particular Flex Gateway. Okay, and I'm going to set up this Flex Gateway on the Minikube. That's the first step. So what I will do, so you can log into your runtime Anypoint platform and you can go into runtime manager. Before I move into demonstration, I will show all the API, localhost and 9000. Yeah. So this is my employee API, which is running on 9000. And let me check 9001 slash API, 9002. Second API is order API, and the third is the health API. You can see all three APIs. So we have a different response for each and every API. Okay. So let me. I have already navigated to runtime manager, and here I will go to Flex Gateway, and I will simply say add gateway. And here you can see recently MuleSoft, like initially MuleSoft is just supporting Ubuntu and Debian and CentOS. Now they are supporting Amazon Linux 2 and RHEL also, right? And also they have introduced the OpenShift. So now they are supporting the OpenShift also. But for now, we will use this particular option, Kubernetes. The first step, you need to pull a Docker image of your Flex Gateway, right? So I will just copy this command and I will go to command prompt and I will just pull the image. Okay, so let it pull the image. I think I already have an image available. Yeah, latest image is already available, but let him download. Till that, I will copy this second command where I will going to register my Flex Gateway. So you can register your Flex Gateway in the two mode. One is connected and one is local mode. Whenever you use the connected mode, so in this case, your Flex Gateway will be managed by any point platform. In case of local mode, like your Flex Gateway will be not visible in your runtime manager or in your Anypoint platform. You have to use the some like YAML descriptor file. From that particular file you have to manage your API, right? So basically, like it will not have a control panel whenever you are setting up a Flex Gateway in the local mode. Whenever you are setting up the Flex Gateway in the connected mode, your control plane will be in the Anypoint platform, and your data plane or runtime plane will be in your Docker or it can be Kubernetes where you are using. Okay, my Flex Gateway has been downloaded. Okay, let me check. Yeah, it downloaded the latest one, which is good. Okay, so that's the first step we have done. Second step, I will copy this command. I will just open the notepad. And apart from that, it also support three kind of authentication mechanism. One, it support anypoint platform username, the password, token, and third is connected app. So whenever you copy the command from here, right, it will using the token based authentication. You don't have to do anything for generating the token. You can use the same token. And also you can see the connected mode equals to true, which means we are setting up a Flex gateway in the connected mode. So let me give some name. New demo Flex EW. Okay, I'm just giving some name to my Flex gateway. I will bring everything into one line because I am running this command in the Windows command prompt. If you are using Linux or any kind of like Git base or anything, so you don't have to do that. And another thing, we have to change this PWD. If you are running this command on like Linux or any Git base or like, it means a current path. So where you will run this command, it will generate a registration.yaml file. In my case, I don't want to run this command. Like PWD will be not supported on the Windows. So for that, what I can do, I have created one folder. I can make use of that folder. I can take this folder, copy this path. I will just replace PWD and copy, and I will run this command. Let's see. So you can see it generate the registration.yaml file. This particular file contain a certificate and all those information to communicate with your anypoint platform. And it contains various URLs, where is your anypoint control plane, where I have to send the events, where I have to send the logging, where I have to send, and the certificate for the authentication purpose between your Flex gateway and the anypoint platform. Those kind of things available in this particular file. This is very important file, and once your Flex gateway registered, you will see registration completed. And these are like this. This is something you will see on your screen. Let me maximize it. Okay. So we have done the first step where it generated registration.yaml file, and other thing, it may have list down your Flex gateway here also. Okay. So here you can see Mule demo Flex gateway, but here we don't have any replicas yet right now. Right, we have just registered the Flex gateway. Next step, let me go back to my add gateway, Kubernetes. Next gateway, help. No, it's very important. It's a one of the repository. We have to use it. So I will run execute this command. So for execute for to make sure there is a one prerequisite for running this command. The ham utility must be in your machine basically. In my case, I should have it somewhere. Yeah, it's there. It's helm.exe, and I've set up this into my environmental variable. Okay. So let me copy this first command. Yeah, in my case, it's already registered. So it will just say Flex Gateway already registered. In case it will say registered, something like that. I want to make this helm repo up. Okay, you will see update completed and happy helming. Now I want to create an ingress load balancer or ingress controller. I will copy this command. I will go back to my notepad. Just do it here. And you can see this command. So helm is used to register your Flex gateway, and it contains various attributes basically. Like if you want to set up a multiple instance of your Flex gateway, if you want to enable the auto scaling for Flex gateway, you can do everything. I'm going to show that also. So okay, so I just use this one helm minus n gateway upgrade minus I create namespace. So first time you are creating the namespace, so just you just create namespace, then it will create the namespace with name gateway. Okay. So copy this command, go go to the path where the registration YAML file is generated. Just say enter. Just a minute, it will take few seconds. Let me check if there is any replica generated or not. So once the command will execute it successfully, you will see the replica generated. So any question till now?
All good so far.
Okay, okay, great. Still it's generating.
Anyone watching, please let us know if you have any questions about Flex Gateway so Jitendra can answer your question right now.
Yes.
And if you're watching from Twitter, you won't be able to send us messages through Twitter, but you can either go to Twitch and send us messages from there, or you can also go to LinkedIn. We're also live on LinkedIn, um, if you prefer that. So, whichever you prefer, you can just go to any one of those and send us messages.
Generally, it doesn't take this much of the time. So let's wait.
Maybe it's because you're on a stream.
Yeah, yeah. You can see one replica has been generated successfully, right? So we can see that. Now, in case like if you want to enable the auto scaling, sometimes this command never completed. Okay, so you will see this is in the wait state most of the time, but you just keep eye here, like if ingress has been generated or not. So you can see it here. Apart from that, you can run some command to see that. So you can run that like something called cube, or I can say kubectl service ingress minus n gateway. So this is the command to see the it's a mini cube service ingress minus n gateway. So here you can see the ingress has been generated on port 80 and 443. So these are the two port available, two port available where you can publish your API. Now what we will going to do, I want to create a multiple replicas, right? So what I will do right now, I will just remove this create namespace, okay? Because I already created the namespace, right? And I just want to update, like no, I just want to update it. So for that, what I can do, set, or what I can do, auto scaling dot enabled is equals to true. Even I will remove this weight. So this takes a lot of time. Copy this. If that particular command is not completed, that's fine. I will just okay. So now you will see two replicas will be there. It will connect. Let's wait. So now when you set the auto scaling mode equals to true, right, it will generate a minimum two replica and maximum it can go up to 11 replicas, right? So replica is nothing, like it is used for high availability scaling and for performance enhancements basically, right? So by default, whenever there is a rise in memory and CPU, so by default, I think it consider around 50%. Whenever it will see memory rise up to 50% or CPU rise up to 50%, it will start creating more and more replicas. Whenever it will goes down the below 50%, it will automatically delete the replica, but it will always keep two replica at a time. Okay. If you don't want to enable the auto scaling, right? And if you want to just set up the multiple replicas, so you can simply pass an attribute called replica count, which is equal to 2. So you can just set the limit. I just want to pass it. I just want a 2 replica, like doesn't matter what load is coming. Okay, so you can do that. So, but we will keep as it is now. So our Flex Gateway is up and running. Now we will start publishing the API. Right? Let me find the IP address of my machine. It's 170. Okay, it's fine. So I will go to APIs and I want to publish this particular APIs. Okay. And I want to publish this APIs on port 8081. And right now I don't have any port 8081 available. If you see, I just have 80 and 443. Right. So for that, what I will do, I will just edit my ingress service. So there is a command. I will use that. Let me see here. So there is a command called kubectl -n gateway edit service ingress. So it will open a file, and what you have to do, copy one of the command from here. I will just copy this particular thing. So go under the ports, because right now I have a two port open, 80 and 443, but I want to deploy my API on 8081. Just paste it. Just change this name. I will just change this to employee API and 8080. I will just remove this all this thing. I don't want all this thing. I don't want target port. It will automatically generate. I don't want node port. Okay, and I will just change this to 8081. I want more ports. So we are seeing a port based routing right now. Employee API, I can say order API. You can give this name anything, doesn't matter. 8082. Now third is help API. Save it. Sorry, let me do it 8083. Save it. So you can see this edited. Now I will just run this command again. I'm going to see it automatically generate the node port and everything. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to give a port name, and name can be anything. It must be unique, and protocol, which is TCP. So right now I have opened the three ports. One is like 8081, 8082, and 8083. Just close this command, and I will just run that command again. Minikube service ingress -n gateway. So here you can see more ports has been opened, right? 80, 443, 8081, 8082, 8083, right? So we have multiple ports available. Let me go back to my API manager, and within API manager, I have gone to APIs, and I will just click on add APIs. So now I am starting publishing my API to the Flex Gateway. So this will be my first API, localhost. When Flex Gateway communicate with your local machine, right? You need to give a IP address. Otherwise, localhost is not recognized. So I'll copy this IP address. Copy. So now here you can see Flex Gateway, Mule Gateway, and Service Mesh. I will select Flex Gateway. I will just select no. It will list down all the Flex Gateway which is available within your organization. It doesn't matter whether it's connected or disconnected, but it will allow you only to select a connected Flex Gateway. Next. Then what I can do, I can create a new API, and first I will give a name, employee API demo. I will select HTTP API. Okay. Next, if you have RAML or Open API specification definition, you can select API from Exchange basically. Okay. So now you have to provide the implementation URI. So this is my implementation, and port 8081 by default it will come. So my implementation URI is this. Let me copy and just let me browse this /API/employees. Okay, this is my implementation URI. I will just say next and save and deploy. Okay, it has been deployed now, and it should be green now. So it means your Flex Gateway has been, sorry, your API has been published to Flex Gateway. Now I will take a second API, which is Orders API. Orders API demo. Add new API. You can do it from here also. Flex Gateway. Select the Flex Gateway where you want to publish. Next, then say create new API. I will say Orders API demo. Select HTTP API. Next. So here we are seeing a port based routing. Now I have to provide the implementation URL. So port number is 9002 for the orders API. Then I will change the port 8082. It will not allow to deploy, till you don't change the base path, right? If you try to deploy on 8081, it will throw the error. I will going to show that in data. Say next, save and deploy. Let me go back to API administration. I will add the third API. Select the Flex Gateway. Health API demo. API next. The port is 9003. Let's have. Let's see what happens if we try to publish on 8081. See, it will give the error, right? Because the port already, because we have not given the base path, and we are trying to publish the API on the 8081, right? It will not allow. Change the port 8083. It should allow now. Okay, all my three API has been successfully published, and it should be in active state, active, active, active. And like I'm not going to show policies and everything. You can apply the policy in the same way you are doing to your API which is deployed to the Mule gateway. Everything is same. Only I want to show like how you can do the path based routing, the port based routing. So right now I've just showcased the port based routing. Let me start browsing the API. So right now, like I have some problem. I'm not able to create a tunnel. So what I will do instead of that, it will give an individual URL for each port number. So we're going to use that. So for that, I need to execute one command: minikube service ingress minus n gateway. Okay. So what is the URL? Employee API is on the third number. So I will just pick the third URL, copy API/employees. A port number changed. Just a minute. Yeah, I know the problem. I think I have to give this IP address. First, let me check if I can browse this one. Let me go back to my Anypoint platform. I will go to Employees API. I will go to Run Configuration. Okay, I done mistake. It should be 17, I think, or one only. Let me check. Okay, it's one only. Let me take the other IP address. 192.168.1.100 HTTP HTTP 8081. That's fine. Control C. Yeah, we got the response. You can see that. So we got the response. Let me close it and just put me again. Yeah, we got the response. I think we have to change the IP address because I picked the wrong IP address. I have to pick from the wireless LAN adapter Wi-Fi. Okay, quickly go back to other APIs also. Let me go back to my orders API. I will do for the health API also. Let me check order API also if it's working or not. Copy this slash API slash orders. We got the response for orders API also via Flex Gateway. And let me try health API also. Okay, we got a response for health API also. Now, what problem you see here? Like now, I want to add a third API. So, what are the different steps we need to perform for seeing the third API? Or sorry, for publishing the fourth API. So, I think we have to go and update our ingress service file. Like we have to go and edit that particular file, and we need to add that port, right? So that is the problem, right? Like you cannot go and like keep on changing this file because you required people from Kubernetes team, or you may require the Kubernetes expert to do that. So they have to go on server and they log into server and then they have to do it. So I will open this particular file and and I want to do some changes. I want to add port 8084. I will just copy this. I'm doing this. I will just remove node port, remove target port. I will give some name like let's consider time API, and I will just say 8084. Right. So every time I have to keep on adding the port. So it doesn't make sense, right? So I will not going to do anything. So for that we can make use of the path-based routing. So with path-based routing, let me open path-based routing once again. So here what we can do, we can use the single port 8081. Okay, and we can use this a unique path basically instead of a separate port. We can unique add the unique path for each and every API which is running on the same port. So and then it will ensure that the request forwarded to the right API. So that is how we can do the request forwarding basically. Okay, so let me show that how we can do that. The first thing what I will do, I will edit that file and I will remove all the ports. First, I will keep 8081. Okay, I remove all the ports.
Before
Just
you
save it.
continue,
Mhm.
I think you're about to do that, but there's a question of how can we remove a replica?
It's simple, like you just go. You can log in into your screen, a platform. I think. Let me go back to my runtime manager. So by I think Alex, by default it doesn't get deleted. It automatically get deleted after 30 days, right? If I'm not wrong, like it will
Um,
automatically, yeah. So if your replica is in the disconnected state for more than 30 days, right, it automatically get deleted, right?
yeah, supposedly.
Yeah. And apart from that, like once you delete your flex gateway, here you will see the status equals to deleted. but it will get removed automatically after the 30 days. Or see, as per my information, like the replica will be exist, till your flex gateway is there. Basically, is there, like you are not deleting your flex gateway, correct? So that's the one thing basically. Okay, in case if you have deleted your flex gateway, here you will see the status of your flex gateway deleted, but after 30 days it will get removed from the your anypoint platform also. Is this answer your question?
We'll see. In the meantime, can we use OpenShift?
Yes, MuleSoft has added the support for, like for setting up the flex gateway in the OpenShift. You can I will show that, like not demo, but I will show that option. So when you add the add gateway, you have an OpenShift here now. So these are the, I think it's a similar command that you are running on the Kubernetes. It's the same command. It's nothing different. So whatever steps we follow on the Kubernetes, you have to follow the same steps on the OpenShift also. You just pull the image. This is the same command where you have to register your gateway. Then just make sure, like you are just adding your Flex gateway to the Helm repository. Then you are using the Helm utility to set up your ingress controller. Okay, is this answer your question,
I think
Pawan?
so. Thank you.
I can move ahead.
Yep,
Okay.
thanks.
So let me start again. Let me, like, what we have done. We have removed the port 8082, 8083 from this ingress service file. I don't require this. I don't want to set up the multiple port for each and every API, right? I just want a single port for all the APIs which within my Flex gateway. So what I've done, I remove all the port. I just kept 8081 because you can do on 80 also, but I generally use the 8081. Okay. So I'll just close this file, and this file has been edited. Now you will see the port 8082 and 8083 has gone away. You can see that. So now I have a lot of screen open. Let me close it because I am getting confused. Okay. So now what I will do, I'll go to Flex Gateway, I'll go to APIs, and first thing I will go to Employees API. I will just say runtime. I will edit the runtime configurations. And here I will make use of the base path. I will say employees API. Okay, port 8081. So that is how, so whenever the Flash gateway see employees API in the base path, it will just forward the request to this particular implementation. Previously we are using the port based routing. Now we start using the path based routing. Save and apply. Okay, so let me find the URLs. Minikube service ingress minus and gateway. So I will pick this third URL. Now you can see only three URL there for 80, 443, and 8081. Okay. Now, in like previously, I was just saying API slash employees. Now, how Flex Gateway will come to know to which API I have to transfer the request. So for that, I have added the base path in the API manager. So you have to pass the base path from here also slash API slash employees. Yeah, you can see the response. Right? We got a successful response. Here we have done the path-based routing. Let me see if we can do the 8081 for the second API also. Let me do that for a orders API. Okay, here I will change it to 8081. Let me just, it will throw me the error basically, right? We have to give a unique base path. So I will say orders API. Right? It should allow to apply. So, like I just taking this URL from here. Like where in real scenario, you will going to set up the application load balancer on the top of this basically, right? So you don't have to, you don't want to every time just execute this command. This is just for the demonstration purpose. So now let me do both things. First, I will run the employees API again. gateway/employees. I got the response. Copy this command. Let me run the orders API now. We got the orders response. They both are running on the same port. Let me do the modification for the third API also. Okay. Just change this to health. Yeah, I will just change this path to the health API. Save and apply. Okay, we got a proper response for employees. Let me check for orders also. Okay, we got a proper response for orders. Let me check for health API. We got a response for health API also. Right. So now, like we have seen, like so how we can make use of port based routing and how we can make use of path based routing. What are the disadvantage of port based routing? So one of the major disadvantage, like we have to always keep on updating the service ingress file basically, and I don't recommend it, like to update that file again and again. Apart from that, like if you have 100 API, you have to open different 100 ports for each and every API. So for each and every API, there is a separate listener basically. Each API is listening on the different port, right? So what will happen whenever we'll be setting the application on load balancer on the top of your Flex gateway, and with in that for that particular application load balancer, you may have to add some kind of rules. So you have to add the rules for each and every API. So there's 100 different port. So you have to add the 100 rules in your that application load balancer, right? But with this approach, with the path-based approach, like you don't have to add multiple ports. Once you open one port, right? Even in your application load balancer, you have to set up the rule for only one port, basically, right? So that is the better approach, I think, right? Any question?
Yes. What are the advantages of Flex Gateway over Anypoint Service Mesh?
See, one what I say, like with AnyPoint service mesh, like this with AnyPoint service mesh is also used to manage your non-MuleSoft API, but those API which are running on the Kubernetes only, like so like AnyPoint service mesh can be enabled on only on the top of the Kubernetes, like if your API, your microservices which are running on the Kubernetes. But Flex Gateway, it doesn't matter where is your API located. It can be on Docker container, it can be on Windows machine, it can be on Linux machine, it can be on any cloud or anywhere, like so you can simply do that. And I think Flex Gateway is it's very simpler to configure as compared to Anypoint service mesh. Apart from that, like apart from that, it's a faster, generally it's a fastest than Anypoint service mesh basically, like so these are the few advantages. And also see, major advantage is like Flex Gateway is a more flexible, like you can deploy it anywhere basically, whereas Anypoint service mesh required your API or your microservices must be running on the Kubernetes.
All right, thank you.
Any question? See, I have done with my demonstration, like or like port based routing versus the path based routing.
There is a question, but it's not related specifically. Let me put it here so you can read it because it's long.
Yeah, like it's tough to tell, right? Without looking at your issues, what configuration, what are the things you have done, right? So just with question, it's very tough to tell. You just, I think, have you checked the documentation from MuleSoft whether the logging policy is support? There are few policies which is not supported by a Flex Gateway. Have you checked that whether logging policy is supported by Flex Gateway or not?
Perfect.
Just check that. I think there are few policies which is not out, few out of box policy which is not supported by Flex Gateway. Just check on the documentation whether this logging policy is supported or not.
All right. I don't think there are more questions. In the meantime, is there something else that you would like to explain, Jackie?
Yeah, I can just show like how to apply the policies and all those things once again. So let me do that. So like I have this particular health API, okay, and I can apply a policy to this. I have never tried one thing. Let's see if I apply the automated policies, whether that get applied to Flex Gateway or not. Let's try this. Add automated policies, and what I will do, I will just apply a simple basic or admin apply. Let's see. I never tried this, but let's see. Let me go to orders API. Yeah, it got applied. So you can apply the automated policy to your Flex Gateway also. Let me, try to browse some of the URLs and let's see. Yeah, now it is asking me for the username and password also. Yeah, I already put once. Like, let me try other browser. Yeah, it is asking me for the orders API also. It's cool. Like, so automated policy is also supported. I never tried this feature, but I think it is also supported now. Yeah, might be from initial stage only. Yeah, but it is supported. Right, and also like like there are few more things I can tell. So you can apply the alerts and everything for your Flex Gateway, and also you can see all the analytics for your Flex Gateway. You can see that how many requests came over the time, total policy violation. If somebody try to keep on sending the wrong passwords and username, you can see the violations, total errors over the time, average response time. Apart from that, you can go to the monitoring part, and you can search your instance, like whatever instance. Let me search. It should be employees API demo, and load the instance. Just say view. So you can see you can use the out of box anypoint monitoring also here. So it give a good view also. Request volume, field request, total 400 error, 500 error, average response time. So you can see a good amount of matrices also. Yeah, and you can also enable the alerts, everything like so like SLA kind of alerts, whatever you want to see, you can create the custom. So I think it's almost support all the out of box features provided by the MuleSoft. Like anypoint monitoring, like API alerts, API metrics, everything. Yeah, yeah. So that's it, Alex. Like I have covered everything related to Flex Gateway.
All right. Well, let us know if there are any more questions. In the meantime, I saw that 9 minutes ago, Vignesh is following us on Twitch. So thank you, Vignesh. If you're watching, thank you for following us. I really appreciate it. And just remember, go to twitch.tv/mulesoft_community so you can follow us on Twitch, so you can see all of the previous recordings. You can get notifications as soon as we're live, so you don't miss any single live stream that we do. Or you can also go to LinkedIn or Twitter. We are also doing lives there. Every single live is going to be on the three different platforms, but you can only interact with us via LinkedIn or Twitch. And also to browse the previous recordings is just easier in Twitch, to be honest. In LinkedIn, you will have to like scroll down and everything, and it's just not very user friendly. So that's why I recommend you follow us on Twitch, but you can do whatever you want. um, And I think that would be it then. Our next live stream will be on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So I don't know what's the topic yet. I think it's just me. So feel free to let me know what you want to talk about next Tuesday. And thank you, Jackie, so much for this great demo. I think it was
Thanks.
like even just doing the port one, it took you like 40 minutes to set up, and then the path one, it wasn't really that long. So I think we can see the differences.
Yeah, yeah. So like path base is simpler and a better approach. Like you don't have to do the lot of like lot of port management, right? Port maintenance, like So that's a good approach basically.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Because like if you are ever like 10 replicas, so it means like those number of ports will get listen on all the 10 replicas, right? So if you are in the single port, so that is a good approach. Like even the memories and like CPU, it will take lesser. Like if you keep on adding more and more port, the utilization will be definitely more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And also, we can all see your beautiful microphone, which is great.
Thanks,
you
thank
keep
you.
you keep upgrading your stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We have to always do that, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think as content creators, we just keep on doing more and more to keep a better quality content, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. I guess that would be it for this live stream. And I will see you all on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks Alex. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.